So, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and this is episode number 61 on Friday, the 25th of February, 2022. This is new tech. So, hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's another Friday. It's Friday lunchtime here in the UK when these episodes go out. I hope you've all had a fantastic week in work. Personally, I've had a week off. First day back all week, and it's a Friday, and it's a weekend, so I'm not complaining. I must admit, it's that time of year, I guess, where for a lot of companies, they have their annual leave budget that needs to be used up by the end of March. I got a fair amount left, so taking a few days off. So anyhow, that's been my week so far. Just been having a little play. A few new gadgets purchased this week, and we'll get into those in a bit. But without further ado, let's just jump straight on over and do some community call-outs. Okay, so first up, great blog article here by April Edwards tweeted out by Azure Advocates. All around kind of choosing your technology and which technologies you should use for infrastructure as code, with kind of pros and cons towards each. What kind of things you're expected to learn, what kind of direction that you could go in with certain infrastructure as code technologies. So it's a great blog article pulled together here by April. As you can see, we talk about declarative versus imperative methods. That whole concept of, I'm going to declare something, or do I need to actually configure that thing? So if I'm spinning up infrastructure, this is what I want, as opposed to actually this is what I want and I want to configure it this way. So there's a few, good golden nuggets of information in here. If you are kind of relatively new to the infrastructure as code arena and really looking to get your learning off to a running start, then it's well worth reading this blog. It's on the tech community website from Microsoft. And it was only released yesterday by April. So go and take a look at it. As you can see, April talks about ARM templates versus Bicep versus Terraform. I believe she even talks about Pulumi a little bit later on in the article here. Yeah, she talks about Pulumi. And then configuration platforms like Ansible, Chef, Puppet. If you are looking to kind of try and use some of those technologies to deploy infrastructure, it's a really good article to kind of have a quick read of and get yourself up to a point in time. So yeah, thanks for that, April. Yes, I noticed this article, which was quite a timely thing, actually. I'll get to why. I mean, I bought some new tech this week, including a drone, and I'll quickly show you that a bit later. But Bruno actually posted this out, within hours, really, of me talking about it, which was quite a brilliant sort of timing. So I didn't realise Bruno had done some work with drones. Partly why I bought a drone was to kind of tap into the camera functionality and features and see if we can do some object detection over a drone camera feed. Bruno has put together how to control a drone and obviously use its camera feed here using Python. I'm absolutely going to check in on that, and I know Anthony Bartolo's sent a link out showing how you can actually integrate DJI drones with IoT Hub in Azure. So pretty cool stuff. So all in all, some good tech, and you can see here this article from Bruno really goes into how to configure and well, actually it's the actual code that he's put together there to control and take that camera feed from that drone. So pretty cool. And he's also put a link to a whole load of Coding for Fun drone posts here, which you can see there's 24 different posts on how to do stuff with drones. So really good resources that I'm no doubt going to be making use of fairly soon. So thank you very much for that, Bruno. And in user group news, so yes, we had the first Azure Cloud Native user group this week, which was absolutely fantastic. I managed to catch it from the car, sat in a car park in Swindon, as I do on a Tuesday evening. Really good session with Brendan Burns, really talking about the whole cloud native Kubernetes story, which was fantastic. You know, it's one of those things that when you hear these kinds of stories from people that were involved with, you know, the inception of some of these technologies and open source movements, it's information that, you know, is like gold dust effectively. So really puts into perspective, you know, where cloud native has come from, where it potentially is heading towards. So fantastic session. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, go and jump over to AzureCloudNative.io. There's a YouTube link there. If you follow Carl Cook on Twitter, get that YouTube link, go and give it a watch. It was a fantastic session. So thanks to Carl and the team for pulling that together. Much appreciated. In other news, we had the first Microsoft Cloud Security user group last night. Now, I only managed to jump on it myself for about 20, 30 minutes or so, but managed to catch some of Dwayne's talk all around certification, which was fantastic. Looked like it was a roaring success looking at the Twitters last night. So congratulations to the guys, Chris and Charlie, for getting that user group up and running. Hopefully it'll be going from strength to strength. So great session, and I'm sure the guys will have that recorded and you can go back and watch that. So like I said, I only managed to catch a portion of Dwayne's talk on certification, but I know Radu was on as well giving a talk, so it's well worth going and checking that out. Other news, Chris Reddington and Steph Rogers, their Lunch Bites session started this week as well. They had their first guest, which was the one and only Matt Fatunka of the Welsh Azure User Group and obviously Microsoft CSA. So yeah, I've not actually managed to watch this back yet, but it's all around DevOps and API management. So I know it's going to be a cool session with Matt involved in it, and of course Chris pulling this together. So really excited to see this new series that they've got up and running from Microsoft. So if you're not familiar with it, it's there. It's on the screen. Head on over to aka.ms/lunchbites. Go and follow Chris Reddington on Twitter and go and give that a watch. So yeah, thanks for that. Okay, so Azure, Belfast Azure is spinning back up. So Mark Allen, it looks like he's going to be at the helm trying to pull some speakers together and get that user group back up and running, which is pretty cool. If you do want to speak at it, head on over to sessionize.com/Belfast-Azure. Go and follow Mark Allen, Mark XA on Twitter, and get involved. So great to see that some user groups now hopefully coming a little bit back out of that dormant thing that they've been in for the last year, 18 months or so. So yeah, great. Thanks for that, Mark. Like I say, if you are looking to speak, go and head on over and submit your session on Sessionize. And finally for this week, Ryan John Murphy. As you know, I had him as a guest on In Convo with not too long ago, and he produced this fantastic white paper effectively on Microsoft information protection and data loss prevention. He created a Kickstart guide. Well, he's updated that. So if you want to go and check that out, give him a follow, Ryan John Murphy 4 on Twitter. And his blog site is msftcompliance.com. And you can see he has updated that particular guidance. So it's a great set of resources, really giving you, full depth of what's going on in the world of information protection and DLP. And really, he's created that Kickstart guide to help people that aren't necessarily that familiar with the processes and features and functionality. So yeah, thanks for that, Ryan. Really is appreciated. Okie doke, yes, thanks to all our community call-outs this week. As always, there's always far too much goes on in the community, and because I've taken a little bit of a rest-up week this week, it's fair to say that I probably not seen half as much as I probably should have done, but there we go, that's how it goes. Okay, let's head on over and talk a little bit about the Welsh Azure User Group. Okay, not too much to say this week, other than we have our next session on the 16th of March. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do so at Welsh Azure. Head on over to our meetup page and RSVP. There you can see we've got Elkin coming on to talk about Azure Bicep, and we've got Matt Fatunka coming on about building apps with Blazor and SignalR in Azure. So that's going to be quite a cool talk as well. I'm not going to give away any spoilers on that one, but yeah, it'd be cool if you can come and join us on the 16th of March, starting at 6:30 p.m. GMT. Go and get yourselves RSVP'd. That would be absolutely fantastic. Cool. And to finish off the sections of this show this week, let's go and talk about what I've been up to this week. Apart from my obvious day off, week off even, what else have I been up to? So let's go and take a look. So first thing, I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that replied to me on the message I put up on Twitter a few days back. It went a bit through the roof, to be honest. So I was looking for guests for In Convo with, and also I'm looking to do another series, which I managed to film the first recording of this week of a new series called Schooled In. So really focusing on the technologies and understanding a little bit more about certain technical areas and getting guests on to talk me through and school me in a particular area. So, managed to get the first recording of that done. That will be out fairly soon with a bit of luck over the next week or so. But yeah, thanks to everybody that responded to me. I think I had, close on 25, maybe even late 20s in terms of responses. So I've managed to get everybody scheduled in. If I've missed anybody, please do give me a nudge, because I just had a flurry of messages, so hopefully I've not missed anybody. But yeah, please do give me a nudge if I've not come back to you for whatever reason. I think I've covered everybody off. But yeah, really appreciate everybody reaching out to me there, and really looking forward into, I think, March, April, May, maybe even June. We've got some recordings sorted for there. So huge thanks to everybody for replying. In other news, I didn't get a chance to jump on the Silver Linings Runbook this week, but episode 6 is out with my good friends Dan and James, and their special guest, which is, again, good friend and colleague Emma Dolan, comes on to talk about SQL bits this week. So if you are interested or you're in that data space, go and take a listen to that. So it's SLR Podcast on Twitter, and go and have a little listen. In other news, yes, this is the Schooled In episode that I recorded with Kevin this week. So, big thanks to Kevin, really. I mean, he was one of the first to reach out to me. We scheduled this a little while ago. We got it up and running. It was a fantastic session about Microsoft Viva. So if you are interested or understand a bit more about Viva, do tune in and watch that session. Like I say, hopefully within the next week or so, that will be going out. Go and take a look. Let me know what you think, because it's a new format for me. Let me know if you think it works. Any feedback would be appreciated. But huge shout out to Kevin. Thanks so much for being my first proper guest on that series. So really interested to see, like I say, how that particular series turns out to work. Lots more in the pipeline. Lots more in the pipeline, I think it's fair to say. So looking forward to getting stuck in a bit more. And in other news, of course, it's Friday. So huge thanks, like I say, to my colleague and good friend Emma Dolan for being my guest last week on In Conversation With. Super chat around data, being a data consultant, that kind of stuff, what that means in today's world of consultancy and architecture. But equally, as it is another Friday, we've got a new episode out tonight, and it is with Mr. Jay Gordon. So huge thanks to Jay for being on tonight's show. Do tune in. It's on at 6:30 p.m. GMT. Obviously, speak to Jay. It's really a great conversation around, what it's like, what life is like being a cloud advocate. And I know Jay is moving on to a new role in Microsoft. So really tune in tonight, have a little listen to that conversation. Fantastic person, cross the community, obviously works at Microsoft as a cloud dev advocate. Really go into some great areas, some great tech areas. Like I say, what life's like being a cloud dev advocate, all that cool stuff. Please do join us tonight in Convo with 6:30 p.m. GMT over on the YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, all of that good stuff. Okay, so moving on. What other things have been up to this week? So yeah, you've probably seen that Twitter's been a flurry with everybody receiving these screen bars, which I was fortunate to get an email as well from BenQ. They're clearly looking to promote these screen bars. Now, in all fairness, I've put mine up. I've yet to take pictures and use it in any real anger, but I put mine up on my side monitor purely because my middle monitor has got my cameras set quite close to the top, so I didn't want to lift my cameras up to make way for this screen bar, but I might do that. I'm going to see how that works out for me. But yeah, first impressions is that it's great. It gives off a lot of light. It kind of shines down on your desk space. I'm probably not the best person to talk to about lights because I've got lights everywhere. So cool, I think, in the event where I just need to, do some work of a night, don't need, obviously, all the studio lights on. It's a great little light to have available to kind of just shed some light across your desk space, which is cool. So more photos on that will be coming up fairly soon. Yeah, so this week, New Tech Week. I kind of went and ticked off a couple of things off my wish list this week, which are the Oculus Quest 2, and I wanted to get myself a drone. So I managed to do both of those, which I'm really excited about. I've had a good play with the Oculus Quest. I've had a few little bits and pieces with the DJI, but like I said earlier on, some of the exciting things that I'm hoping I can get into is really understanding how can I pull the camera feed from the DJI drone into some kind of an object detection application and do some object detection. I don't know quite what yet. I mean, if I fly the drone above a street or a field, I want to try and get an object model learned that I can use in an application that will help me find specific things. And like I say, I'm going to have a little play with that, get some inspiration off the internet. But Bruno's posts earlier on were cool. Like I say, Anthony Bartolo has sent me through some links in terms of how I can hook that up to an Azure IoT Hub. Really looking forward to that. I mean, the next step then would, of course, be, how can I kind of get involved with putting that feed and putting that information into Quest 2 using things like Unity. So, yeah, lots more learnings, lots of things to play and tinker with. So, yeah, really excited by that. This was one of the first shots that I took with the drone, actually, above the street, which I thought was pretty cool. Straight away, the camera quality on that is pretty good. It goes up to, I think, 4K, 60 frames, no, actually 5.4K at, I can't remember if I think it might be 30 frames per second for that. But you can go 4K, 60 frames per second, so you can kind of do some of those slow-mo footage bits and pieces in 4K. Or, of course, HD. I think it goes up to 120 frames per second, something like that, so you can do kind of super slow-mo, that kind of stuff. But, yeah, that was only, I think, at about 30 meters, something like that. But this drone, of course, you can go up to, well, I think the legal height that you can fly is 400 meters, and this drone will absolutely do that. The drone will go for miles out of line of sight, which I must admit, quite nervous by even attempting that. But I'm sure if I get a big enough open space, I'll give it a go. Battery life for the DJI 2S is around about half an hour. I mean, I think it says about 34 minutes. But of course, it depends on lots of environment variables like wind and, how hard you're flying the actual drone itself. So I've had a couple of test flights, done a few little videos, been quite good fun. Watch your space, hoping to do a bit more with it and incorporate into the show if I can at some point. Yeah, I mean, part of that, whether you knew it or not, is that you have to get a flyer and an operator ID. So if you own a drone, you need an operator ID, and that operator ID has to go on to actually be stuck onto the drone itself. And then in order to fly a drone above, I think, 250 grams, I think, in weight, you need, you need a flyer ID regardless. So, but there is that distinction between the class of drone. So I actually needed to get an operator ID. But who knew? You do a little theory test online. I managed to get 35 out of 40. Literally by going through the questions there and then on my phone. You pay £9 and you get your operator ID and your flyer ID you can get for free if you need one. But then in order to own and operate a drone, you need this operator ID. Cost me £9 a year. So there we go. That was good fun. And yeah, finally, with regards to the Oculus Quest 2, I managed to get myself, I don't know, well, that looks like, I think I'm a bit slimmer in that photo there, by the looks. But yeah, managed to have a little tinker with the Oculus Quest 2. It's a fantastic piece of kit. Really looking forward to getting stuck in a little bit more and understanding a bit more what I can do with it. But first pass, got myself into the Horizons Venues world, which you can see I popped in to see the Foo Fighters there, which was pretty cool. Very strange experience when you've got all these other people running past you, and a lot of kids in there. So yeah, a lot of bizarre behaviour going on. But yeah, it was good, cool experience. So looking forward to getting stuck in with using it a little bit more. So again, watch your space. See if I can incorporate it into the show somehow. It'll be pretty cool and good fun, hopefully. Okay, so we are in the last throes of the show, and we are going to, I think, head straight on over and do some Azure news and updates. Let's go do that now. And good afternoon, and welcome to the Azure News and Updates section of the show. Okay, without further ado, let's just head straight on over. We've had about a dozen or so different updates this week on Azure News. So let's start off with GA, localization available in Azure Purview. So the Azure Purview Unified Experience team has localized the Azure Purview Studio in a variety of languages. So you can go to settings on the top bar and select one of 18 languages to use. So all user experiences that are generally available will be localized to the selected language. That's cool. Good to see. GA, Application Gateway Mutual Authentication. So the App Gateway is announcing general availability for Transport Layer Security TLS Mutual Authentication. This allows for two-way TLS certificate-based authentication, which allows both client and server to verify each other's identity, of course. This release strengthens your zero trust networking posture and enables many connected devices, IoT, business-to-business, and API security scenarios. Cool. Very good to see. Public preview cost management anomaly detection for subscriptions. So now available for subscriptions in the cost analysis preview. To check cost anomalies for your subscription, open any view in the cost analysis preview and click the See Insights link to view all the insights and details. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. More public preview announcements, new capabilities for Azure Monitor logs. So it's got 5 new capabilities in public preview, so you can full power to your own logs. So new table management API creates and updates custom and built-in table schemas. So new data collection rules based on custom log APIs, supporting ingestion time transformations, higher scale, Azure AD authentication, advanced networking features. Okay, so full power. You've got process your logs during ingestion. You can you've got cost-effective solution for high volume verbose logs. It's a long-term archiving of logs for security and compliance, and search relevant logs out of petabytes of data. Okay, so yeah, fundamentally they've increased the capabilities of Azure Monitor logs at the moment with those kind of 5 key areas. So go and check out. They've each got to read more, so they'll each go into some significant detail, no doubt, about how those features are being implemented and how you can use them. So go and check those out if that is of interest. GA, custom retention for Azure Activity and usage data tables. Cool. Log analytics data export in Azure Monitor. So you can now define export rules for unsupported tables, and the data will automatically populate as they get supported. So Microsoft will gradually add more streams into the export infrastructure, excluding the classic custom log functionality. The new generation of custom logs, including many new capabilities such as transformation and filtering at ingestion time, will be supported instead. General availability, direct enterprise agreement on Azure cost management and billing. Okie dokie. Public preview, WordPress enhancements for app services. So there's new capabilities for WordPress on app service for Linux and now public preview from the Azure Marketplace. These updates offer significant performance improvements, more flexible hosting options, and enhanced configuration. So there's a few bits and pieces here. So by optimizing areas such as caching and image compression, it offers a 10 times improvement in read response time, a 2 times improvement in write response time, and an 80% reduction in resource utilization. 4 hosting plans will give you flexibility to choose an option that will best reflect your requirements. And configuration simply requires creation of username and password. Everything else is taken care of for you. That's good to see, because I actually ran a WordPress service on app services not too long ago, actually, and the price was quite significant. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. Sorry, apologies. It was on IaaS VMs in terms of the web server and a SQL backend, I believe, on that. And it was, yeah, it's quite a pricey affair. So might be worthwhile having a look at running that on app service just to see what the cost differences are. So cool to see. Okay. More public preview as your NetApp Files application consistent snapshots tool version 5.1 is out. General availability, NetApp Files, new region and cross-region replication. So new region in Australia Central 2 and cross-region replications being enabled between Australia Central and Australia Central 2. Public preview, Elastic and Azure Spring Cloud integration. Cool. And some more Spring Cloud Enterprise updates. So I won't go into those, but there's a whole plethora of Spring Cloud updates. Another GA, utilize multiple backups per day for Azure files in Azure backups. Can't speak again. So any low RPO, so recovery point objective. So having a low RPO, of course, is a requirement for Azure files holding business critical data. Azure backup enables you to recover archives. Azure backup enables you to achieve recovery point objective for up to 4 hours using Azure File Snapshot-based backup solution. You can leverage the multiple backups per day feature or create or modify a backup policy to take multiple snapshots for your file share. This feature allows you to define a backup schedule aligning to your working hours when there are frequent updates to your Azure Files content. So in addition to the preview capability that allows you to configure multiple backups from the Azure portal, you can now use PowerShell and Azure CLI to create backup policy that triggers multiple snapshots a day as you define your schedule. Okay, so multiple backups a day to kind of reach that low RPO. So in other words, when data's changed, you want to make a copy of that as quickly as possible. So it's just about creating those snapshots for up to 4 hours. There we go. Good to see. And finally, updated navigation menu in Azure IoT Central. Okay, that's great. So this update brings improvements to the information architecture of Azure IoT Central to help you more easily navigate around the UI and find product capabilities. The navigation menu has been improved by reordering, regrouping, and renaming pages. And there we go. That is our Azure news and updates for this week. Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in. That's our show for this week. It's episode number 61. As always, please do like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. When more content goes live, you'll get notified. But for now, thanks for watching. Until next week, I've been John Lunn. I'll see you all soon.